Nice, I can get rid of this.
Parody? Yeah, we did it. We did it. Wait, I don't get why can I? You can do it on the computer, but it must have to be an Apple computer.
It wasn't this. The video was coming from my phone. I have them side by side, so I don't know if the video would come through or not.
Yo, what's up, Mystical? Mystical, I couldn't believe you weren't in the other live. That was crazy. I'm just kidding. You're in every one. The only thing that was crazy is I didn't see you. I always see you. I appreciate you always being her. We did it, guys. The 17 time is the charm. Parody, how you doing? For some weird reason, when one of you is speaking, the other is frozen. Just as a heads up. Nice. Nice. Very nice.
Or maybe it just appears.
Cheetah. I figured I'd have Ryan come on here. That video that I had with Ryan was people loved it the most. It's my number one video. It continues to remain as my number one video. Well, for the last 90 days. Let's go. What's up, Adro? Let's go for sure. Amen. How are you guys all doing today? By the way, Ryan is posting on TikTok and YouTube. Make sure you check him out. I had 2 coaching calls this morning, and it was just so cool because it's, as we talked about, when your state is ideal, it's just so cool to watch people become ideal during the call, because they were, you know, um, thinking a bunch and caught up in the old story and having emotional turmoil, and by the time we're halfway through the call, they were matching my state, which was in flow, and they were like, I don't really have any questions. And it's funny how that works. It's like when you're in flow, you don't have questions, because you are everything. Yo, what's up, Luke? What's up, V? V, we did it. We did it, V. We're live. How are you doing, brother? Bro, that's so awesome. That's so, I love it. As we talked about earlier, bro, you are the magic. You are the magic. I'm making some pizza rolls right now. Okay, we're on Frozen? Yo, where are the money, guys? What's up, Nick? Hi, I love your videos. Just hey, Jennifer, thank you. I appreciate you. Is it their internet connection? I don't know. I have really fast internet connection.
You're crystal clear. I think it's something with YouTube. It delays a minute.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I just did a live with the manifestation queen yesterday. We did a little TikTok, and tomorrow's gonna be cool. It's my father-in-law's birthday, so we're gonna get some Mexican beers and get tipsy, which should be the vibe, dude. I haven't drank in, well, I don't even know the last time.
What's your Mexican of choice? You do Dos Equis?
Corona, I feel like, is the vibe, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I like my girly drinks. I want them really flavorful, like some daiquiris or something type shit.
The Corona with a lime on a hot summer day, dude, it's unbeatable.
Yeah, it's freezing a bit for us. It's freeze. I strongly about my process, but still wondering about the 3D lag, and only one of you can speak at a time because it freezes the other one. Why, God, why? Uh, okay, so it says we both talk at the same time. We freeze, so I'm gonna make sure that I allow like 5 seconds in between when you're done speaking, so that way I can hear you and it doesn't freeze.
Strawberry drinks, dude.
They got
I agree with you. Listen, a great girly drink is phenomenal. It tastes way better than straight whiskey.
Is that better, guys, when we talk like this? A lot of space in this conversation, which is the most valuable thing that we can offer. So, parody. So I talk about this a lot, and it's good that we talk about this a lot because it's a very important concept. Is that you are our state of being is what we're searching for, and so I talk about often so that you can understand what I'm saying experientially. That when you're in when you're in flow, you're in the state of meditation. You experience yourself as love, peace, bliss, happiness, fulfillment. And you are what colors life. Well, how do they come to that conclusion? Well, you notice that the times where you're not in a good state of consciousness, things appear to go wrong. Everyone seems to be in disharmony with you. This is the state that you were in when you created your SP to flow out of your life. And you'll notice also that when you manifest your wife back, everybody will be in the state of flow to a degree or another, where they're feeling content, where they're feeling like they're in a loving relationship, when they feel like they're not over obsessed, they're not looking for proof and validation. So, what you actually want is the state, because when you're in the state, you no longer want SP. So, when you're going, oh, it's taking a long time, or I need this, or I lack this, what you're really wanting is for you to put yourself into the state of being in that relationship now. Because the moment that you're in that relationship, you no longer want it. You may prefer it as an experience that you love, but it's different. It's not a wanting, it's not a lacking, it's not an obsessing, it's not a looking for proof and validation. It's just simply a preference. Like right now, I have a preference of wanting a smoothie, right? Like it's not a I have to have one. It's like I need one, etc.
I love the how can I manifest forward facing Cap Joseph?
Hat forward so much. It's I actually, Jermarian, I'd like to know the answer to that if you wouldn't mind.
So true, dude. Like when I woke up today, I noticed when I was in that funk, I was just like really tired. And then like the thoughts started coming, and it's just like these thoughts. And it's like you said, it's that state. And as long as we occupy that state, the thoughts are just there. And it's like, gone through this, I didn't even try fighting them. I'm just like, I just got it, my awareness, and just went into observation mode, and just sat there kind of watching the thoughts come in and how I was feeling. And I'm like, interesting. And so I just went for a walk, and I was just looking around, just taking everything in and just being present. And I found that as my state shifting, my emotions started shifting, the thoughts coming in started shifting. Same exact circumstances, but everything, the perspective shifted. And now it's just this beautiful day. Ooh.
To the old state, or I became unconscious is another way to put it. So yeah, I did, and it was just it's the same thing as it is now. Is that it's simply just rising in consciousness in that moment. The brain wants to tell you that like I have to like earn it to get here, or I have to do something to get here, or I have to maybe sometime in the future I'll be able to get here, but they're all lies. Like you are there now. And so you just rise in consciousness, right? Like you just become the awareness. And then you'll automatically, as Ryan talked about, he had the emotions come up, he had the thoughts come up, and all he did was just rise in consciousness to become the observer of them. And then this automatically got rid of his emotions, got rid of his thoughts, got rid of that state. And then he got put into his ideal state automatically. And that's what I love most about flow is that you don't have to be controlling or specific or um, forcing it to be this way or like figuring out how do you get there. You just go into flow you just naturally fall into the state that you love to be in. Joseph, I mean to ask, you know how we return to it when we think about it. At the same time, we still know it isn't here in the 3D. I noticed that like it's not really something that I really think about too often. Like when I'm in the state, it's not something that I really think about whether or not it's there because I feel like I have it. So that's the whole point behind this is you can tell what state you're in by what thoughts automatically come to you, your perspective, the beliefs that you have, your emotional state that you have within you. This is all determined by your state. So when you're in your state, like it's not even a thought that really crosses your mind. It keeps freezing for you guys, dude. I don't know. I don't know. This thing is cooked. Ryan in full mannequin mode. I mean, Ryan is pretty jacked.
Just like, that's awesome.
or was it more about just returning to it for you? Mythical. The only thing I do like is I go back to being in flow. Like that's my priority. That's my goal. That's what if something's off internally or I'm imagining something unideal, my number one goal is to go back into flow. Hey Max, thank you. Remember I'm doing work. So that's the number one thing that I always shoot for is to be in flow because when I'm in flow, it's just all you need to do. Like it's all you need to do. It gets rid of all confusion, all things to do, everything. What up, her reality assumed? Sidecap Joseph on fire. I appreciate you guys. I'm filming myself right now. Don't ask him to be quiet, Joseph. Man needs to speak it up. I've noticed big improvements. Oh, Ryan in meditation mode now. I mean, Ryan is a Buddha. He took his orange gown off for this call, but he's usually rocking it. Meanings lately too, as you said. Yeah. Yep. That's huge. Can you please tell when two families of my SP and third party are against me? My SP don't like me. Angry at him and him also in time crunch of him getting married to 3P in weeks isn't possible against so many people. Shadnam, I for that I would recommend that you join our school community because there's a lot of things for you to release here. A lot of things for you to understand. Number one, there is only you and your reality. You're the only power. So there's so much of them, the third parties, this person, this. There's just so much of uh, imagining that others are opposing you that there's a lot of this that has to be released. Like no one has the ability to do anything in your reality unless you imagine that they do. And there's a lot of imagining that people are doing things to you. So read Neville, join the school community that we have. We have calls 3 times a week. This is what I would recommend. Be around people that are going to purify your mind with how it actually works. Joseph, that fit hard. Thank you. Thank you. Sidecap takes on a whole new version, full flow state.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, Adriel has a question for you, brother.
Hey Ryan, what was your process for acceptance when it came to a third party? Multiple times doing it or just one full deep acceptance? Great question. I would say it didn't take very long. But for me, the process was that I really didn't focus on it at all. just like Joseph just mentioned, there is no power outside of us. So to me, there was no competition. I all I did was focus on my desire and know that I had it. So once you do that, when you have the desire, and I'll always go back to what Joseph said about what would it feel like when you give yourself that, there is nothing outside of you opposing you. So the moment you release it in your mind is the moment it's released. It doesn't exist. So that was really helpful for me, is that I didn't manifest the third party away, or I didn't give it any time. I accepted it, and it was out of my mind.
What up, Lucas? What up, son? Hi, Angelica.
You mentioned your partner is a perfect mirror. How do you know she's mirroring you when you're not communicating? Great question. Well, I can tell you she's a perfect mirror because looking back, she mirrored everything I was imagining perfectly. And then um, going through the process as many times as I did, you you become aware of the state you're in, and what you're imagining and what you're thinking. And so I recognized that there were periods of hot and cold, or am I doing this right? Oh, I was like this before, and I'm not like this now, and it's not going to work, or this. And she was mirroring it perfect. And getting to talk to her now, I can tell you she was always mirroring exactly who I was being. And even now, she's mirroring it exactly as I imagined. So they are always mirroring us perfectly.
After catching the last live with you and Ryan, I realized Ryan is damn near a mirror of what's been going on in my life with my SP. I manifested her back 8 times unconsciously, not knowing the law. I'm ready. You are ready, bro. You're back.
Yep. Yeah, I love that above billions. Manifested her back 8 times unconsciously. Yeah, you got me beat. You're definitely ready. I mean, if you do that unconsciously, consciously, you'll kill it. You just have to. If you look back, you can look at the thoughts you had and the old story that was replaying, and the circumstances, and looking at everything, looking at the state you were being, how you viewed yourself, the questions you had, you recognize that it mirrored exactly your state perfectly. So if you, now that you're conscious and you're aware, now you just enter the state of your desired outcome. So for you, it's this loving, committed relationship where you're the only guy that she dreams of. You're the only guy she wants, and she's madly in love with you and doesn't want to live without you. And you just remain in that state. You don't have to question it. You don't have to do techniques. You just remain present, and that'll allow you to get into flow, and then you just watch it unfold.
The fit, side cap on.
I mean, if you got it, flaunt it.
Lives in a bit. Haven't heard your wisdom in ages. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not anything we can do about it. It only lets you stream from your cell phone. It won't let us do it from the laptop. Advice on surrendering in flow state. Been stable since day one. Realized she was mirroring my current state during the breakup, turning my energy in. I know I'm the desire. No obstacles can be in my. Absolutely, brother. Dahmer, he said over a year in the interview.
Mm. What did you do when fear grips you, or 3D got worse, or nothing changes when you were already at the end? Another good question. Um, when fear grips you, same thing I did today. You just observe the thoughts, observe the emotions, and you don't react to them. You don't give them any identity. You don't give them any meaning, and you just allow them to pass. That's the easiest thing. When Joseph talks about flow, this time was so different than the other times manifesting her, because I really wasn't aware of flow and being present. I was good at imagining it, but there were so many roller coasters. And when you talk about fear, there were many days where I got wrapped up in it and questioning, can I even do this? Is it going to happen? Has it been too many times? Am I wasting my time? And so there was this roller coaster of emotions and getting wrapped up in it. And this time, just being able to get into flow, it eliminates all of that. You don't deal with the roller coaster and the up and the hot and cold. When you just be present and get into flow, the thoughts and emotions begin to align. So it becomes natural, and you're not trying to force it. I wasn't having to say affirmations during the day. I was just being. So that's the when Joseph says that, that's the best advice you could get.
Play with them reflecting it back out to you. It's just part of how it works. I mean, there's some times where, I mean, as Neville says, they go, "Hey, what's the time frame?" And he said, a chicken takes 3 months to hatch. Why not? Rhinoceros takes 17 months. A chicken, you know what I mean? Like, there's, it's just how it works. But the thing is when you're really in the state, it's not something that is like you're content with where you are. You still have a preference, but it's not like I have to have it or I'm looking for it all the time type thing.
You know that you're not in the state that you desire to be in. So it's pointing you in the direction. It's not about the SP. The SP will be in alignment with who you're being, of course, but it's ultimately about who you are, who you're being.
From cell phone, if it's freezing, then uninstalling the YouTube app or rebooting the device solves the problem. You may do it next time if you solve face the same. Thank you, son. I will try that. Is this still lagging even though I went upstairs?
I don't know if I'm skipping. Let's see here. Cindy. So if we're extra sure we're going to be together, they will mirror that. He's not single, and I hate even typing that out, but got to throw it out there for the question. Yeah, it's just all those questions will go away because all those questions are coming from the state of not having it. So you don't. It's like Joseph said. You're not worried about the third party. You're not worried if they're single, if I'm single. Those are all 3D appearances. When you're in the state, you will see that everything will lovingly arrange itself. You don't worry about it. You don't think about it. You're not questioning, well, what about this? And just like Joseph mentioned earlier about joining the school community, it's so important because you get in there and you're around like-minded individuals. And what he said was so true about I can be out of flow or not being present, and I can talk to Joseph, and it's just you find yourself right in flow. When you're around that, it draws you in, and the next thing you know, you've been in flow for hours. You didn't even notice it. So definitely check that out. But yeah, all those there is nothing opposing you. There are no outside circumstances that you have to worry about. What you need to do is wake up every day and have that awareness to recognize what state you're in and just focus on you. The outside doesn't exist.
Conversations with me more than anything is because I'm present, it activates the presence within you. It activates the being within you. It makes you more present when you observe me speaking. It's making the presence or the awareness in you become in the forefront of your mind, which then you feel more flow, you feel more present, you feel as though things are ideal because of the state that you're occupying by observing. Eckhart Tolle talked about this perfectly, is that somebody who's enlightened is like a picture a log that's on fire, brightly on fire. And then if you look at another person as a log, somebody who's starting to become conscious or practicing being in flow, if you place that log on top of the log that's already on fire, it's going to make that log catch on fire quicker. That's why I recommend that people listen to Eckhart Tolle. They listen to Joseph Rodriguez, my stuff, Ryan, um, uh, internal game, is because these people are extremely conscious. And so it's not really that necessarily the information is helpful because um, information is just signposts. It just point you in a direction. So even if I say the most profound shit, it really doesn't matter if it doesn't bring you to the realization that you're consciousness. And that's the whole point of why people love coaching with me and such, is because they observe me in flow and then it puts them into flow. Like that's really what it is that you're wanting, is to be you, which is flow awareness. YouTube just had an update. Maybe it's possible, or it could be the two people on live. Yeah, it's definitely not a connection thing. I think we both have like over a 500 megabyte download. Awareness and really feel that. What I do is I bring my focus or my attention to where I would describe that I experience my thoughts in my head, and I just fill in there. I fill into that space in there. That's all it is. Like if you bring your focus inside of your body, you can fill a space within your body, and when you pay attention to that space, you become more conscious. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I feel like when I don't have to visualize because I'm lazy, but feel like if I don't imagine the scenes with SP, it may be forgotten. It's not forgotten. What you love automatically flows to you. Like that's why I always talk about focus on being in flow, because while you're in flow, you experience life as bliss and love and happiness and fulfillment, which is then the state you're occupying, which then it results as you imagining ideally and things that you love manifesting outside of you. You'll automatically just start imagining your SP. Ideally, you'll start automatically affirming that your SP is ideal. It's just a natural thing of flow. Gotta find what's most natural. We used to imagine a lot even before LOA. Yeah, you can imagine, like you can affirm, you can imagine, you can visualize. Like these are all wonderful things. Um, but what I found is that it's just recognizing that you are who you desire to be. So you can either just go into flow and you'll know that without doing anything, or you can do a technique that'll put you into flow about it.
My favorite technique was from Joseph's a year ago. Was the if you're spiraling or you get these thoughts, just stop and ask yourself, what would it feel like to be in a loving, committed relationship? What would it feel like to have it now? And you're not saying it's right here. Your mind isn't going to oppose that, because all you're asking is, well, I could ask you, what would it feel like to jump in an ice cold river right now? And so the moment you do that, you begin to feel these loving thoughts and these loving emotions. And that was one of the easiest techniques for me to do and get in the mood very quickly.
Because of the state of consciousness I'm in now, I can only see who I am now. So I do recall when I was the drug addict. I do recall when I was the bad boy that was fighting and breaking shit and getting into fights and arguments and different things. I do recall many different states of consciousness I occupied. It was like a past. It was like a past life. I can't really recall it clearly either because I'm not in that state of consciousness anymore. I can just recall this one, and it seems like I've always been this way. So, how do you feel that relationship without having attachment to the outcome? Well, I am. My relationship with my wife is the best it's ever been, by far, and I prefer being with my wife because I love my wife and I choose my wife, and I feel like she's my person, and so I prefer her. But the thing is, though, is that I don't feel like I need her anymore, or I feel like I'm going to lose her anymore. And that's one of the nicest things when you're being as you are is that you stop. There's no longer a need or I have to have this particular outcome, because if I realize that I'm love or I'm bliss or I'm happiness, well, then I don't need a thing for me to be the way I desire to be, because I recognize that I am it. Because all the relationship is ultimately is a symbol of who you are. It's a symbol of you feeling love, you feeling bliss, you recognizing that you're fulfillment. And then the relationship flows from there to show you that this is a symbol of it. And that's why I always say, you are the blessing, you are the spice of life. Your state of being is what gives everything life. And so this is why I focus on the state so often, is because it's what you want. When you're practicing that technique, if it feels forced, is it still as effective? But why does it ask yourself, why does it feel forced for? Like you're just surrendering to it. You're asking yourself, what would it feel like? It's a great question because it allows you to play. It allows you to imagine, which is what you want. It's to imagine that it is that way, to feel that it is that way. And then you'll notice once you accept that it is that way, or you imagine that it is that way, you'll fall into accepting that it is that way or feeling that it is that way. And then you'll start imagining that it is that way. It'll change your state of consciousness. I notice my imagination can be so powerful at times. It damn makes me shed a tear. Yeah. This is the first time in my life that I've been in flow. I've been trying to manifest my SP for the last 7 years. Nothing worked for me. I sprawled for years and finding your channel, I changed. I'm happy to hear that, brother. I remember when you were in shambles probably about a month ago. So I'm grateful that you took this. I mean, it works for everybody, but there's only, I find that only people that are really um, ready to enlighten, ready to do the work will benefit from what I'm sharing. Otherwise, they're just going to go and watch the affirmation channels and the visualization channels. Thank you guys for all you do. You're welcome, brother. Why do you think you choose to endure so many personal hardships early on in your life? Um, well, it's unconscious, but I think because I always knew that I would be somebody who did, who lived my dreams, who spoke around the country, who ended up being wealthy and such. I think that a crucial part of this is you have to go through challenges for several reasons. Number one, pain is what causes you to go deeper. Suffering is what causes you to question. Suffering is what causes you to go within. Because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people I find in my reality, observe in my reality, they don't really do inner work of any kind. They don't do any exploring. They don't do any working on themselves or challenging their self concept or their identity or looking at consciousness. Like when I talk with my grandma, my aunt, um, they'll talk about like their thing is like prayer, right? Like that's that's the deepest they'll go as far as inner work is like they maybe pray more. But nowhere in it do they ever question what am I doing within myself? What am I saying to myself that's creating this? There's never any of that, right? It's always well, it's God's will or whatever it is. And so, how often do people do inner work? It's a very rare thing. Um, so thankfully, because I had so much suffering in my life, I was forced to go within or kill myself, which I was close to many times. But I either continued to suffer because I was unconscious, creating the same shit over and over again, or I woke up and I had to face the suffering that I was running from. And then, then after you do it for some time, you realize that the suffering isn't real, and then you don't suffer anymore. But you suffer until you don't, until you realize that it's not real, and then you stop needing to heal, you stop suffering because you realize that it's just not real. I feel the same way. I was in an abusive marriage for 15 years with two kids and manifested my happiness and freedom so many moments I don't want to remember while leaving the hardest days of my life. Yeah. Thanks for answering the questions, brother. Perhaps I shouldn't give up on manifest my acts. I think I wasn't doing the right techniques to change my beliefs about my ask. Inspiring info you have. Yeah, that's awesome, brother. Yeah, and you'll find that like when you practice, as Billy was talking about, you don't have to change any of that. Like you'll change automatically. Everything will change automatically. Your thoughts will change, your beliefs will change. If your concept needs to change, it will. Your SB will change if they need to. Your emotions will change. You'll automatically catch yourself saying the affirmations to yourself naturally. You automatically start catching yourself imagining your SP. Ideally, it changes everything. Because it's easier to say it's something outside of us and realizing it's the inner being. Yep, it's all the inner being. Right, I'll let you get these all the way at the bottom. Just by Jung is the next message. I'll
I think that was the same for me. Is I always had this desire to be this version of. I always wanted to be or obtain things or be successful or have this amazing marriage, but my ultimate desire was to be this version of me that I am for the first time in my life. I feel like that I am now, and it's so. The best word I could ever use is freedom. If you, when you can begin to be in flow and be present, it's ultimate freedom. You no longer are attached to the conditions, all of the conditions we placed on everything. For the first time, the relationship is beautiful as it is. If she doesn't come up and hug me, it doesn't mean she doesn't love me. If she gets quiet, oh no, what is she doing? Is she pulling away? All of that just, it all starts to begin to fade away. And it's just beautiful as it is. And now you can start to experience things for what they truly are. And so that's loving. You get to experience even loving your SP, your partner. You can love them for who they are, not, oh, before it was always anxious and was I really wanting to cuddle or a kiss or a hug, or was it conditions that meant that okay, I'm okay right now, I have security because she's doing it. So it's so cool just to experience it without it meaning anything, just to go, ah, she's amazing, like just to get to watch her be her without it having to mean something to me.
a person where I enjoy solitude. I like being by myself. I like being in nature. I like spending time in my inner world. I have my moments where I love being around other beings and observing them and interacting with them, but I do love moments where I just love being by myself. But the thing was, is like in my relationship, I couldn't because it was I needed the continuous. Do you love me? Text me. Did you text me? And this, and it was like I didn't even want that, but because I was being driven by fear-based thoughts and beliefs, I was convincing myself that I did want that and that I needed it. And if I didn't get it, something was wrong. And now it's just like, um, nothing can be wrong if I don't imagine something's wrong. If I don't give a meaning or I don't in mind suggest something to myself, if my wife appears a particular way, then I won't experience my wife uh, not being a good wife to me. Like she's just going to show up as a good wife. Like why she appeared as like a bad wife or why it showed as chaotic is because I kept imagining, or every time a thought came up and said, "Oh, she's being distant," and I go, "Oh yes, she is being distant. Wonder why that is? Is it because I said this or this?" And then it starts this whole fuckery. And then before I know it, then she starts to appear as though there's problems in the relationship. But if I wouldn't have identified with that thought, everything would have lovingly rearranged. She would end up being in harmony with me. I know this because I've experienced it so many like you. I've had the opportunity um to watch when I identify with certain thought patterns and I can catch myself in the mood, she'll then reflect it back to me perfectly. And then when I don't entertain the thought and I let the thought go, shortly after I'll observe her being loving to me. And I know because I've done both routes that if I were to entertain it, it would end up that way. If I don't entertain it, it'll end up that way. Like that's the whole thing is if I don't imagine or I don't identify with thoughts that suggest that I have a problem with my wife, I will not experience a problem with my wife. adults that are yelling at you, um, it's very difficult to maintain internal composure with these intense emotions. Agreed. Agreed. It is challenging, but it's also doable. Um, and I'll tell you why. It's like you have the ability to where your inner world is more real than your outer world, and you're not affected by anything externally from you. I know because I experienced it, and so yes, it is challenging to get to that point, but it's not impossible. You can do it. You just have to. It's just the more and more that you do this, the more and more that you realize that you're the cause, and the more and more that you realize that um, the only way that anything unideal could ever happen to you is if in mind you identify with it, then you just don't. You just don't. Like when it fully sets in, when it's not a concept, but you know that what you entertain in your conscious is what you'll experience, you just won't choose to entertain stuff that doesn't serve you. Because you've gone down that route so many times. Because I entertained thoughts about my wife appearing this way, I experienced the breakups. I experienced the turmoil. I experienced the hell that puts me in. And because I've experienced that, I go, hey, the next time I'm not going to fucking do that. And then so I don't do that. And then my wife doesn't show up that way, which then positively reinforces me that, okay, I do create my reality. So when you're in that opportunity, when you're in that experience, yes, you may have thoughts come up, you may have emotions come up. That's fine, but you can still remain the observer during that situation. The only way that you're free is if you can become the observer in every area of your life. That's the only way that you become free.
In situations like a practical application of what you just said. Let's say you're in it's a tumultuous situation with your SP, or some things are being said. When you can be the observer, there's no outside threat, so you don't find yourself trying to defend yourself. Where you can sit there and say, "Hey, what's going on?" and you can have a conversation. What are you feeling? The conversation will shift instantly because there's not this defensive stance to it.
If you think about it, like, why would somebody's opinion of you or what somebody's saying affect you in any way, shape, or form? Unless you're identified with the little I that suggests that who you are is being affected, or who you are is in some way, shape, or form um, going to be hurt or something like that, which is an illusion because you aren't the little I. So there's nothing for you to defend. There's nothing for you to protect because who you are is untouchable. It's all that there is. I mean, really, the only problems you'll ever experience is when you identify with the little I. And you can practice this. Don't take my word for it. Practice it. You'll see your world rearrange when you don't identify with the little I. What about no contact? You want reconciliation with an SP, but your people around you that don't like your SP because of the past you had. That's just mirroring the state you're in, Jung. When you change your state, the people will all of a sudden be in harmony with you. When I was manifesting my wife the second time, really long story. I'm not going to go into details because it included her going into a mental hospital, a whole bunch of other shit. But we'll just say that my father-in-law and mother-in-law did not want anything to do with me, and we'll even say like very strongly and even aggressively didn't want anything to do with me, her to do anything with me. And now we're in a loving relationship. I'm cool with both of them. It just doesn't matter. I just want to say that I absolutely enjoying the school community. Very grateful I found you. Thank you, Tisha. We're grateful you're there. I'll put a link for anybody that's watching this later for the school community if you want to join. If you guys sign up for the year, you guys do get my course and also my book, so that you can deeply understand the information that we talk about.
Class time intensive workshop. That's going to be really. It's an intensive workshop, so it's going to be intense, but it's going to be a 2 week long event with calls, a Saturday workshop, um, going through a lot of the things that Joseph touches on in the course, all different topics, really dive deep, specifically in what you're experiencing and where you're at, and kind of tailor it to your needs. So it's going to be an awesome experience. If you want to join, you can find that as well in the community.
Yours type thing is like an ego thing. I mean, because circumstances don't matter. I mean, people get caught up in them, but they really don't. I mean, you heard it from Ryan, from me. It's the same solution, which is that you stop entertaining the old story and you push yourself into your loving relationship internally.
People who think, oh, my situation is unique, I can promise you it's not. We all feel the same way. Oh, but I had this happen. The family doesn't like me. The friends hate me. She's with someone else. He's with someone else. He's doing this. They moved to another continent. This happened. I can promise you, it doesn't matter. The circumstance is a circumstance.
Dolly, I'm seeing him shift, but he's fighting himself. Is that normal too? Dolly, I would not identify with that. Because remember, it's in mind you're identifying with it being that way, and so he has to show up that way. When those thoughts come up, just let them go, and he'll lovingly rearrange himself to appear the way you want him to. All right, let's thank everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys. This is going to be the end of the stream. I got to take off because my little one's downstairs. He's over sitting inside of his little chair. So I will put the Skull Candy link in the comment section. I love you guys. Ryan, thank you for joining me. Later, guys.